Another day scrolling through Instagram, and you see people living the life that you dream of. The houses, the vacations, cars, and it looks like they don't have a care in the world. While at the same time, you're struggling to make ends meet. The 1% of people are the 1% for a reason. Most people look at social media and think, wow, I'd like that yacht. When instead, you should be asking, what's the secret that led to the specific actions that produced a large number of results that allowed that person to buy a $5 billion car collection? I didn't stutter, I said a $5 billion car collection. That averages out to over one different Ferrari for each day of the year. We're going to filter out any input from people who haven't achieved the goals that you want to, and focus on secrets that got millionaires to where they are today. Any one of these could be the advice that you need to hear. So take it and actually apply it. These are 25 secrets of success from 25 millionaires. Dwayne Johnson, aka The Rock, is a man you've seen everywhere. From wrestling to movies, Under Armour to recently a line of hair care products. Which, I'll be honest, Dwayne, it's kind of confusing why you would poster this. Anyways, there's no denying he's reached a level of success, but it wasn't always tequila and French toast for this guy. His football dreams were crushed, and he was left with $7 to his name at one point. So what's the secret? Besides the whispers that he has a line in any movie contract stating that his character cannot lose, which obviously that's a cheat code to winning, he used to say, you have to be the hardest worker in the room. That, of course, will never hurt your chances. But after launching a few more companies, he credits surrounding myself with people that are much smarter than I a major reason for his success. The unique abilities of others will do a couple things for you. First is influence you to rise to new levels. Second, it significantly improves your problem-solving abilities because other people are going to see things that you didn't see, and they also have data that you don't have to solve those problems. You don't need to shoulder the entire load yourself. You will go further with a solid team around you. From being labeled the new king of Twitch, millions of followers, and consistently attracting audiences upwards of six figures to his live streams, he wasn't handed the life he has today. He grew up in shelters with his mom and his siblings, and one of his first viral clips was him doing push-ups, and a mouse ran through the background of his shot. What does Kai credit being a major part of him going from shelters to penthouses? In an interview, he said that he believes not everybody is going to be able to make it, but the reason behind it is the interesting part. He credits some of his success to a bit of luck, which most successful people would say the same thing. But he adds, most people won't ever find the luck because they aren't patient enough to let it find them. In his own words, slow motion is better than no motion. Without consistency, you don't give luck a chance to find you. You have to keep showing up day after day. Say what you want about this man, but he's built himself a supposed $600 million net worth. Extremely impressive when you look at the journey he took to get here. Even if he isn't shy about letting you know that his jet is better than yours. Early in life, Grant's father passed away from a heart attack, and then 10 years later, he lost his brother as well. That led him down a path of consistently getting kicked out of high school and a life of, well, let's say non-prescription pharmaceuticals. Once he got his head on straight, he credits the speed at which he takes action a secret to his success. Picture this. While you might take 3 months to make a decision, he says he makes decisions in a single day. Even if you both find out that you made the wrong decision, spread that out over 10 decisions, and now he is 3 years ahead of you. Jeffrey here went from, I'm starting an online book club in my garage, to, I control the entire market as you know it. When he started his company, he gave Amazon an estimated 30% chance of being successful and a 70% chance of it failing. Along the explosion of what Amazon is today, Jeffrey also credits himself with a few failures. Actually, billions of dollars worth of failures. And although he says failures aren't fun, it's like getting a root canal without any anesthesia, but they don't matter. You have to press on despite the failures. Everyone's going to have them. Failure is a part of this game. The successful people find ways through them and have a good story to tell at the end of it. Cody will admit that early on she took the path that most people preach. Graduate, get a good job, and then work your way up. And she did just that, earning respectable roles on Wall Street with companies like Vanguard and Goldman Sachs. Despite her outward success, Cody felt how most people do at times, trapped with no sign of a way out. Against the advice most people would give, she took a leap of faith and she left her corporate life and decided to start investing in boring businesses. This led her to have a $20 million net worth. Her secret to success isn't an easy one to grasp. When she felt trapped, she saw people living the life that she wanted and she hated them for it. Cody credits confronting that emotion and flipping her mindset to, I see this person who has more money, who is doing better. If I can learn how they did it, I can have it too. It's simple, but it's not easy. You have to confront yourself. One of, if not the most transparent CEO in our time, documenting everything from business to haggling prices at garage sales, Gary has established himself as a staple in the media space with a net worth of $200 million, and he's got a goal of buying the New York Jets one day. Gary recalls scaling his family's liquor store by creating and posting a review video on YouTube almost every single day for 5 years straight, and most people give up on their goal after not seeing results after the first few days. Whether it's writing a New York Times bestseller, launching companies, or building brands, Gary, in his own words, was always in control of the one asset that we all give the most fuck about, and that is time. You have to know where your time is going or you're going to lose it all. This man seems to have it all. Puberty was very good to him. He's the most followed person on social media in the entire world, and he's regarded as one of the best soccer players to ever play. Money, the physique, fame, he's got it all. It all started under very difficult circumstances. He grew up very poor, being the youngest of 4 children. He had a bad temper as a child, which shouldn't surprise anybody based on the passion he plays with on the pitch. And his father was an alcoholic and passed away when he was 20 years old. This all led Cristiano to play the game he loves with a giant chip on his shoulder. Some people love him, others can't stand him due to the way he carries himself. But that's exactly what Cristiano credits to his success. He says, I see myself as the best football player in the world. If you don't believe you're the best, then you'll never achieve all that you're capable of. When you start anything in life, it's a very lonely path. And oftentimes, the only one cheering you on is you. If you don't believe you can do it, the odds of you making it are next to none. You can find evidence to believe in yourself by doing the hard work that's needed. Confidence comes from evidence. Here's an interesting question that I'd love your perspective on. If you had a business that was doing around $3 million per month in revenue at its peak, would you sell it and go all in on a new venture, or simply keep sticking to what you know and what works? If you chose burn the boats and sell the company, you're like Sam Ovens. He started a new venture named School on the side while running all of his other ventures. Consulting.com, which is the $3 million per month revenue machine, his podcast he recently purchased an entirely new studio for, and a mastermind he ran for the small price of $36,000 per year to be a part of. He paused everything besides school because he noticed his focus was too scattered, not getting enough things done in a concentrated area to see the exponential results that come with it. Sam's risk paid off though. He's acquired over 9 figures in funding recently for School. That risk might be more than most are willing to take, but that is exactly what got Sam to where he is today. He dropped out of university to start his first venture. He credits loving something more than the fear you have of failing as the key for not only himself, but for every successful person he has studied in any field. If you need help finding out what that thing is for you, there's a free guide on clarity linked in this description below. Most people know LeBron for his performances in basketball. And understandably so. There aren't many records left that LeBron hasn't already broken, cementing his place as one of, if not the greatest basketball player of all time. Being 6'9", 250 pounds, having a 40-plus inch vertical, and speed in the top 5% of any sport is something that you just can't learn, no matter how many videos you watch. But what most people don't know is his success goes well beyond the court. He's invested into companies like Beats by Dre, Blaze Pizza, and Fenway Sports Group, who own Liverpool FC, the Boston Red Sox, half of NASCAR, and much more. His basketball earnings and investments have made him the first billionaire in the NBA according to Forbes. You might be thinking, yeah, but it's easy to make money when you have money. True, it definitely helps, but on the other hand, a high percentage of professional athletes end up broke. So how did a kid growing up in a rough part of Akron without a father find his success in life? A reporter asked him what he would attribute his success to, and he said, wine. It ages well. And yes, that's an actual quote, by the way. When he isn't trying to be funny, he credits knowing the history of the field you want to leave a mark in. He had all the athletic gifts anybody could ask for, but he studied more than anyone else too. He used the same principle for business. He had the money to invest, but he also studied where to invest it. If you fail to prepare, you are preparing to fail. 15 years ago, Mel hit rock bottom in her life, stating she nearly lost everything. Her anxiety was so bad that she could barely pull herself out of bed. Fast forward to today, she's one of the go-to experts on change and motivation, sought out after by some of the world's biggest brands, and has helped millions worldwide. At her lowest point 15 years ago, she realized that no one was going to come save her. No one. And to change her life, she needed to first save herself. She credits the 5-second rule for getting her out of rock bottom. Simply counting down from 5 when she didn't want to do something. For example, get out of bed. Those 5 seconds forced her to stop overthinking, reduce the time from inaction to taking action, and she credits those for saving her life. Next time you're struggling to do the work, try out the 5-second rule and see what happens for yourself. Forbes named Brendan the world's leading high-performance coach, and the title fits as he has millions of fans worldwide. His motivational tutorials being viewed over 400 million times. His high-performance journey started when he was 19 years old, and he nearly lost his life in a car accident. In that moment, he remembered thinking, did I live? Did I love? Did I even matter? Those are 3 extremely difficult questions to answer when you're on the brink. From that point, Brendan found an obsession, not a passion, an obsession for helping himself and others find true high performance, which he quotes as being the key to his success. Everyone can have passion for something, but to reach the outer limits of your true potential, you have to be obsessed with pursuing your goal. Are you living? Do you matter? One of the most controversial figures in today's society, hated by some, adored by others. There isn't a day that goes by without him being in the headlines, like cashing out $300 million from Zip2 and buying a McLaren, and shortly after, crashing the McLaren. It seems like everything he touches turns into a massive success. PayPal, Tesla, SpaceX, once claiming the title of richest man on the planet. Achieving that title didn't come without its struggles. Being worth hundreds of millions in 2008, he almost lost everything. The profitability of SpaceX and Tesla were depleted. His back was forced up against a wall. His options were, use what remaining funds I have to save one of my companies and let the other one die, or split the funds, try to save both, and likely losing both. He chose to split the funds and attempt to save both of his companies. And thankfully, that's what happened. Looking back on that time, Musk said, if it's important enough, even if the odds are against you, you should still do it. What other option do you have? You don't act and then you live the rest of your life with regret? The $100 million man with big arms and nice flannels has completely changed the way business is approached today. A smooth path is anything but Alex's journey. From going against the life that his father chose for him, sleeping on the floor of his first gym, and building up hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue and losing it all. Multiple times, by the way. He felt the toll his journey took on him made him numb to everything for years. When he looks back on his journey, he states that the burden was lighter and he was much clearer when I picked one thing and focused on it instead of many, which relates to the old saying, you can have anything you want in life, but you can't have everything. The man's popularity has exploded over the recent years. As a stand-up comedian, a significant part of the UFC brand, and of course, he has the most popular podcast of today, his most recent Spotify contract netting him upwards of $250 million. Defying the odds is an understatement when you look back on his journey. Living off of welfare, knowing his dad only for a few years before he left his mother and him, a guest on his podcast stated that those circumstances would have led most people to have severe trust issues later in life. If Joe would have gone down that path, no one would have blamed him. However, he chose a different path. To escape his difficult upbringing, he had to count on others despite those early life lessons. And to do so, Joe states, I had to become someone people could count on. Life isn't crazy enough to reward those who are undeserving. He became someone that people could count on to deliver. And with that came the perks that everyone wants. From a 14-year-old gamer to 30% owner of a streaming platform attempting to rival Twitch, Aiden found his calling not as a gamer, which he started out as, but rather an entertainer, attracting A-list celebrities to his streams, from Tory Lanez to even former presidents. As controversial as he might be to some people, how did this young man go from one of millions trying to make it as a streamer to a house name that we all know today? Signs pointed to a difficult life ahead when you look at his childhood. He was, well, for YouTube's terms and conditions, poked by a sharp kitchen utensil by a family member when he was younger and rushed himself to a hospital. That was the first of many hurdles he would have to overcome on his way to success. An event like that could have lasting effects on someone, and understandably so. However, Aiden said he used that to strengthen himself for the trauma he would face as he progressed in life. From bans on social media platforms to losing hundreds of thousands of dollars on guest appearances, how you react to losses and failures in life will dictate the life you have in the future. You can use it as a story to explain why you didn't achieve what you should have, or you can use it as motivation to overcome. The choice is yours. There's clearly a theme between all of the successful people in this video so far, and that is they faced something difficult in life and they used it to push them forward. Dana is no different. From a tough childhood navigating his father's alcoholism and his mother's long work hours, he had to become self-reliant early on as he found himself often alone. From a bouncer at a pub to president of the UFC, a company estimated to be worth over $5 billion, Dana himself having a net worth of $300 million, it was a long journey to get to this point. Dana's view of that journey and the advice he gives to others today is simple. Find something you love and be consistent at it every single day. He also adds, today's generation is so weak, man. If you put your head down and work, you will run over all of them. Most people today overcomplicate success and aren't willing to consistently show up. Do what others won't, and you can have what others can't. As controversial as he might be to some, his rise to fame and riches has been one that few others can rival. Sure, you can talk about the drinking, the gambling, things of that sort, which, again, I'm not endorsing, but with great power comes great responsibility, and Steve has done good with the status he's found himself with. It's unclear what exactly his net worth is, but he has been known to give away a supercar now and then, and also giving away thousands to individuals in need. If you're hating, how much have you given away? Few find themselves in a life Steve has. And he credits a lot of his success to being around those that support your own dreams. There's a saying that says, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. How would you answer this question? Are you more likely to succeed spending time around people putting your dreams down, or spending time with people who have bigger dreams than you? Give your answer below. Andy is as tough as they come. From starting his first business with minimal funding, working 2 jobs while running that supplement shop to be able to keep it above water. Oh, and he would also sleep in the back office at night since he couldn't afford rent at an apartment while this was going on. Or, again for YouTube's sake, getting poked in the face with a sharp kitchen utensil to the point where paramedics didn't think he was going to make it. He's got the Ford GT and a supposed $115 million net worth. He's also open about what helped him reach his current level and status. He says it's very simple. You have to take the tasks that need to be done and do them. There is no magic to this. If you look back on your day and can say, I was in control of my day, I won my day, then make a habit of winning your days, that leads to winning weeks, which leads to months and years. We all have an opportunity to win each day that we have. Most people are just going about their days blindly, not knowing what needs to get done. Do you have a plan going into today? A leader in digital media, gaining billions of views online to his YouTube videos, and amassing a following of millions of fans, Casey helped pioneer a new advertising paradigm through collaboration in online content. He struggled early on though, dropping out of high school when he was 15 and moving to New York to pursue his dreams of becoming a filmmaker, but he immediately ran into money problems. He found ways to scrape by and make it work while still pursuing his dreams. Eventually, his unique and authentic style of production took off, attracting massive brands like Nike wanting to work with him. He uses an analogy to describe how he was able to navigate his way and eventually find success in life. He says, so long as Tarzan doesn't let go of the vine he's hanging onto, he's never going to be able to grab onto the next one and swing onto a new place. You have to be able to let go of your current status, your current situation, and grab onto something more if you want to become more. Dan was a major pioneer in recent years when it comes to online digital entrepreneurship. His path started when he noticed something. Most people are extremely unhappy in life. Unhappy with their careers, their boss, spouse, children, colleagues, self, mornings, nights, and everything in between. He also noticed that most people take the same path in life. He did some simple math and decided that if he took the same path, he would end up unhappy as well, and he wanted to do something different. So he first tried a fitness YouTube channel, never found much success. Then it was photography and editing, didn't go anywhere. Next up, a Facebook ad agency. He quit after sending 50 cold emails. Dropshipping, dead end. Ecom, nothing. It seemed like nothing would work until he started freelance web design. He found some success in a side hustle, setting up funnels for service industry businesses. He then added to the offer by selling digital products revolving around that same side hustle, one being a course where he taught others how to build funnels. He continued to add products to his offer, and now he scales and does over $3 million a year in consulting for big brands. He had a road filled with failure, but he attributes his success to building skills on each failed endeavor. And when he stacked enough of those skills and put them together, that's when everything finally clicked. Everyone experiences failure. It's what you do with it that matters. Most people know her as a music icon, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. She also adds executive producer, fashion designer, entrepreneur, and philanthropist to her resume. She holds the title of best-selling digital artist of all time, and her beauty brand Fenty did over $600 million in revenue in 2023. Most people struggle to find a spot at the table in one career or industry. How was Rihanna able to find success wherever she put her attention? When her first single was immediately labeled a one-hit wonder, a fire was lit under Rihanna. She felt she had to prove she belonged, and it was about challenging myself. I have to do better. I have to do better. And what's next for me? While some people stray away from challenges, those who find success look to conquer them. What have you been avoiding lately that you need to confront? From once record-setting streams of over 600,000 viewers with Drake and Travis Scott, to a massive brand deal worth around $30 million with Mixer, Twitch's supposed rival at one point, Ninja paved the way for gamers and streamers alike by showing what's possible when you can draw a crowd. His popularity skyrocketed next to the growth of one of the most popular video games of all time, Fortnite. He quickly became a face and name synonymous with the multi-billion-dollar machine, and at his peak, he was drawing in close to $1 million per month. But no one, not even his own family, knew he could support himself in life with gaming. Tyler saw the vision though, which he needed to, because no one else did. Not because he wasn't skilled, but because he was entering a new world, where streamers weren't making anywhere near the type of money they are today. He credits resilience for his eventual success. He was living in his parents' basement with his now wife while getting his name out there, working at Noodles & Co., going to school, all while keeping his dream alive. You have to find ways to make your dreams work and keep them going. Patrick's family came to America when he was 10 years old. His parents fled Iran as refugees during the Iranian Revolution and were eventually granted U.S. citizenship. Depending on which stage of his life you might have met him, you would have known very different Patricks. After high school, Patrick joined the U.S. military. After years of service, he found himself a new hobby, which was Vegas, 26 times per year for that matter, and is actually banned from a club there due to his partying. His wake-up call was his father's health, which he dealt with multiple heart attacks. To be able to provide better for his family, he needed to produce more income, which led him to start a business in the financial industries, and later exit that company for multiple 9 figures. Patrick talks about a moment everyone has to face in life, and that moment is when everything goes wrong. He woke up one morning to a breakup text from his girlfriend, being told he didn't love her as much as he loved his business. He also had a voicemail from his mom, where she was scolding him for not seeing her as much anymore. He had an email from his largest client, which they said they were leaving his company for a competitor. And his highest producing agent at the company was resigning, all before 7 in the morning. He credits his decision to think, what am I control of at this time? What are my next 5 moves I can make in this moment? Life will fall apart for everyone. You can either focus on the bad or problem solve a future. The woman Forbes magazine touted as the world's youngest billionaire in 2019. Does it help that she has a famous family? Of course, no one's going to argue that. But she's outperformed others in that same family by a wide margin and done it at a much younger age. So, what's her secret? In researching her success, she gives a lot of good advice that is valuable, like own your mistakes, find good role models. These are things most people need to hear, yet would count them as very surface level. So, in analyzing Kylie's business success, she is phenomenal at finding a market with an insane demand. Let's take makeup, for example, and focusing everything on who her consumer is at their core. Everything from the verbiage, the branding, the very fine details are tailored to what her fans want. This causes her products to sell out as soon as they hit the shelf. It's not about what you want. It's about what the people you're serving want. The co-founder, chairman, and former CEO of AngelList has left his mark on the entrepreneurial world, being named one of the greatest investors of this time. He has the track record to back it up as well, investing early into Twitter, Uber, and Notion in the early stages of those companies. Growing up, he couldn't see the life he has now for himself. His father wasn't in his life. His mother worked long hours to pay the bills, leaving Naval and his brother to self-educate their foundations. He didn't have a lot of friends. He had to work to afford necessities in high school and college while his peers were able to party. He credits his success heavily on how he was able to manage his time, which, despite his ever-growing wealth, the thing still to this day that is most precious to Naval is his time, stating, "Time is all we have. Where your time goes, you go." Every individual covered in this video had to go through something difficult to reach their goal. It's not unlucky when a challenge presents itself to you. It's part of the game.